The most highly discussed and requested update among the Minecraft community is the end update. I mean, it's no secret as almost every post from Mojang on social media has comment sections flooded with requests for the end update. And it's been like this for years now. After the Caves and Cliffs update was finally released, people thought the end dimension would be the next big part of the game to get its big overhaul, just like the caves, the nether, villages, and the oceans did before it. But it's been 5 years now, and there's been no signs of an end update coming anytime soon. But what if I told you Mojang already made an end update, just not in vanilla Minecraft? The thing is, this end update contains literally everything the community could possibly ask for. New mobs, new biomes, new structures and loot, the list goes on. So why doesn't anybody ever talk about it? Well, it's because it's only real in Minecraft Dungeons. I'm sure many of you have heard of Minecraft's spin-off game Minecraft Dungeons, especially since it's getting a sequel in just a few months, but after the game's initial release, it got multiple DLC packs, one of which was called the Echoing Void. The Echoing Void DLC was an update to the game that brought multiple levels, all centered around the end dimension, except the end wasn't like vanilla. It was filled with features we had never seen before. Now, before I discuss this DLC any further, it's important to mention that Minecraft Dungeons has plenty of levels that contain environments with features we haven't seen before. For example, the Nether DLC had plants that don't exist in vanilla Minecraft, and obviously there's a ton of features in Dungeons not in vanilla Minecraft just due to the type of game it is. The difference between the rest of the levels in the end DLC was that most of the levels built off pre-existing content in the Minecraft universe, like the level that takes you into the desert temple. The level contains a desert temple much larger in scale than the base game, but it's still a desert temple. It didn't create a new idea. The end currently only has end cities, so for the Echoing Void DLC, new biomes and areas were designed specifically for the end. They didn't just build off a pre-existing biome or idea, they instead made completely new ones. And this DLC already solves most of the biggest problems with the end. While it is true a separate team of developers from Mojang made this DLC than the ones that actually code the base game, Mojang's vanilla developers did play a role in guiding the design of the Echoing Void DLC and overall theme the DLC was intended to have, meaning these aren't just fan concepts, they're official ideas for what the end can be. And while Dungeons and Vanilla's end likely won't be the exact same despite being in the same universe, the overall ideas can't contradict each other, as Dungeons is a part of the greater Minecraft universe lore. So with Mojang already having the perfect template and concepts for the official end update, it begs the question, which of these concepts could actually make it into the base game? Well, to determine which features could be brought over, we have to consider what an end update would actually need. The aspects of the end that need to be currently updated can be broken down into 5 main categories, being the dragon fight and process of reaching the end biomes, mobs, structures, and finally incentives. I want to break these down one by one, starting with the dragon fight and the process of actually reaching the end. In Minecraft Dungeons, reaching the end is a much different process than in the vanilla game, as collecting Eyes of Ender works very differently. See, in Dungeons, the Eyes of Ender required to light up the portal are scattered throughout different structures in the overworld, each containing a giant Enderman boss defending the eye. While altering the process of getting to the end would be a major change, I think it would make it far more interesting. Vanilla Minecraft could take inspiration from Dungeons by adding little end ruin structures as part of already existing structures like trial chambers, woodland mansions, and mine shafts, and each end ruin would contain a different type of eye for the portal, forcing you to go out and explore your entire world to collect the different eye variants from different structures. And I think having an Enderman mini boss like we see in Dungeons would be a really cool way to add some extra challenge and really build up the threat of the end. Which brings me to the dragon fight, which actually isn't present in Minecraft Dungeons at all, so there's no changes we can bring over. And while I don't have the perfect idea for updating the dragon fight, what I will say is it needs to be a bit more difficult and have a little more variety in its attacks so it's not as predictable as it currently is. And Mojang, please make the dragon egg hatchable. It would genuinely be so cool. You know what else would be really cool? If you gave this video a big fat like and subscribe so you never miss out on another video just like this one. It's completely free and helps me out a ton, so thank you. With the process of getting to the end being improved, that brings us to the outer end islands, where currently all we can find are end cities and an infinite amount of empty islands with chorus fruit. I think the first improvements that need to be made involve introducing some variety among these islands through new biomes. And the biomes present in the Echoing Void DLC are literally the perfect fit. They make the end feel a bit more diverse while still feeling barren and alien-like, but not in a lush forest kind of way. It feels like the world ended a long time ago and is finally starting to have some new signs of life, but it's not filled with life. So what actually are these biomes? Well, there's quite a variety, and while I'm not currently aware of any of the official names for them, I can describe them by their distinct characteristics. There's one biome with trees that have yellow leaves where the logs point upward but the leaves hang down downward, there's another biome that consists of dark gray and purple stone, and it's a very rocky area with the occasional purple tree, and there's even an area with giant, widely spaced trees that almost look like those massive trees you can find in Africa. And I can't forget to mention that throughout all of these biomes, there's some form of purple void liquid that damages you if you step in it. This is exactly the kind of variety the end is currently missing. While these biomes obviously wouldn't look the exact same in vanilla, I think the overall vibe and ideas behind them are so perfect, and I really love how the trees have weird shapes that aren't anything we've seen before, which really makes it feel different. I also feel like they still match the barren atmosphere of the end, because while they do still have some plant life, it's not necessarily lush. The vegetation is pretty spread out, and it almost feels like the end has only recently started to develop forms of life. For the base game, the default state of the end could still be the islands we currently have, with these new biomes appearing only rarely to ensure the end keeps its barren feeling, but there's still stuff for you to find. The other things I'll mention which aren't present in dungeons is that the end islands should generate at different heights. I think this would not only make the end more interesting to explore, but it would also make elytras far more of a necessity for traversing the dimension. The next question we have to answer is who's going to be inhabiting these new end biomes, and this is where it can be a bit tricky to figure out what to bring over from dungeons, as there are so many mobs to choose from. But honestly, I'm going to keep it really simple and say I think we just need a few different Enderman variants with varied attacks to keep the game's combat interesting. Due to the end being Minecraft's endgame content, I don't think it should be a place that's easy to explore, and adding more variety to the threats would definitely help with that. I also don't think the end needs any form of trading like how the Nether has piglins. The only other mob I would say could be helpful would be some form of creature that helps you traverse the islands before you're able to obtain an elytra, especially if the islands would be at different heights. I know shulkers can make you float up into the air, but they're found exclusively in end cities, so another mob that allows you to float for a brief period could definitely help you traverse the end. I'm sure a lot of these biomes that I mentioned would have mobs specifically unique to them, but that is kind of a case where you really can't say what those will be, and I think the biome specific mobs that aren't hostile will be unlike anything we've seen already. The next factor of an end update is the dimension structures, and I honestly think the end dimension doesn't need any new structures. I know this is a hot take, but what it needs is for its current structure, the end city, to be greatly improved upon. In dungeons, the end city is vast, with a ton of different ways it can generate. I think an end update should try and make the end city more like a trial chamber. It keeps the same overall idea, but adds a ton of variety to how the structure generates, feels, and just looks. I think an issue with a lot of Minecraft structures currently is that once you've seen one, you've kind of seen them all. And I think part of that issue is also the loot that you find there. Having end cities generate in a ton of different ways would actually make you want to go out and explore multiple of them. I mean, the Echoing Void DLC has a ton of different variations, some feeling like little villages, some feeling like little temples, and others are giant ships. The other factor that comes into play with structures is, like I mentioned, their loot. While we can currently get shulker boxes and an elytra, I definitely think they need at least 2 or 3 new items to make you actually want to seek them out. And I think one of these items should be something you don't just need one of, basically a renewable item like the wind charge that you'd continue collecting over time to keep bringing you back to the end. As for what those items would be, I honestly have no clue. I could mention some from dungeons, but there are just so many items that aren't currently in vanilla that I don't really think any of them would make it into the base game. And even if they did, they would probably look and function in a completely different manner. But the loot has to make these structures worthwhile. Otherwise, it will end up like the ancient city, which is a very challenging structure that I feel doesn't properly reward you for the challenge. And that brings me to incentives, which basically includes everything we've already discussed. See, the whole reason players want an end update is to have more of an incentive to actually go to the dimension and spend time there beyond just trying to obtain an elytra. And everything I just covered would do exactly that. New biomes give you new blocks to build with, like a new wood set, which for the end would hopefully be something like a black or purple wood set, new mobs that could have the potential to drop new fun utility items, and new structure variants with new loot. All of these combined would make for the perfect end update and would finally give players more of a reason to visit the dimension beyond just getting an elytra and shulker boxes. With all that being said, the real question is, despite having the perfect template and concepts for an end update, will we ever actually see it added to vanilla Minecraft? Well, while I can't say for certain, I do think it's inevitable Mojang eventually updates the end again, and when they do, I think the content present in Minecraft Dungeons Echoing Void DLC has a good chance at being the basis they will work off of. It might not look exactly the same, but at the very least, I think Mojang will use this DLC as a large inspiration for what the actual update ends up being. I really love Minecraft Dungeons Echoing Void DLC, and I really hope we see some of its content brought over to vanilla Minecraft in the future. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. Would you want to see Minecraft's end update look similar to this DLC, or would you rather Mojang go in a different direction? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say, so leave any thoughts thoughts you have down in the comments below. But that is it for today, guys. If you did enjoy this video whatsoever, do me the favor of hitting that like button and subscribing so you never miss out on a future video just like this one. It's completely free and helps me out a ton, so thank you. I also have a Twitch channel now, so if you'd like to support me and just get the chance to chat with me a little bit more, I'll leave a link in the pinned comment and description below. That's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching and have a wonderful rest of your day or evening. Bye-bye.